Ladies, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you might smell bad and not even know it. No one wants to be the smelly grandma. But sometimes it's not about neglect or poor hygiene. It's about silent little mistakes we make without even realizing it. Mistakes I made too, until a kind doctor clued me in. So stay with me, because these 6 silent hygiene mistakes could be making you smell unpleasant, and fixing them is simpler than you think. And before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Savvy Senior, and tell me in the comments, what's one self-care tip you swear by in your older age? I read them all, and I love learning from you. 1. Wearing the same bra for too long. Ladies, let's get honest for a moment. How many times have you worn your favorite bra without washing it? 2 times? 4 times? A full week? Don't be shy. I used to do it too. And before you say, well, I didn't even sweat, let me tell you what my doctor told me. It doesn't matter. Your skin still sheds. Your body still produces oils. And yes, even if you barely moved, a layer of bacteria and odor builds up real fast in your undergarments. Now here's what no one told me for years. As we age, our skin becomes thinner and more delicate. That means it absorbs odors and bacteria more easily. And unfortunately, it also holds on to them. I had a cotton blend bra I loved to death, wore it 3 days a week. It fit like a dream. But then one day I hugged my niece, and she gave me that little wrinkled nose. She didn't say anything, bless her, but that look said it all. Something smelled off. It wasn't until I started rotating bras more frequently and actually washing them every 2 to 3, where's that things turned around. And yes, I said rotating. You should never wear the same bra 2 days in a row. The elastic needs time to recover, and your skin needs a fresh start. I also learned that materials matter. Some synthetic fabrics hold odors longer, even after washing. That's why I switched to breathable cotton bras with removable pads, easier to wash, easier to dry, and far more forgiving. Now, I know doing more laundry can feel like a chore at our age, but think of it like this. A clean bra isn't just about hygiene. It's about dignity. It's about confidence. No one wants to be remembered as the sweet old woman with the not-so-sweet scent. Trust me, this tiny habit makes a big difference. 2. Not exfoliating underarms. This one shocked me when I first heard it. Exfoliating your underarms. I had no idea that was even a thing. I mean, we exfoliate our faces, maybe our legs, sometimes our elbows. But our armpits never crossed my mind. Then I went to my dermatologist for what I thought was just age-related odor. You know what she said? You have a buildup of old deodorant, dead skin, and bacteria. I was mortified. She explained that most deodorants, especially the long-lasting ones we tend to favor, aren't fully washed away in the shower. Over time, they create a sticky film that traps odor even if you bathe regularly. And that's what people start to notice. Not just sweat, but this lingering, sour scent that clings no matter what perfume you wear. I was using antibacterial soap. I was showering daily. But I wasn't getting under the problem, literally. That doctor suggested I start using a soft exfoliating cloth or a gentle scrub just 2 or 3 times a week. Not a harsh scrub. Nothing that tears the skin. Just enough to remove buildup. And wouldn't you know it, within a week, my underarms felt fresher, cleaner, and even smoother. Let me tell you, the first time I exfoliated properly, I was stunned. The washcloth turned a little gray. That was weeks of buildup I didn't even know was there. From then on, I made it part of my routine, especially in summer. You don't need fancy products. A washcloth and warm water can do the trick if you're consistent. And always rinse thoroughly afterward. Residue is what causes that tacky feeling that turns into odor later in the day. So yes, deodorant is important. But if you're not exfoliating under your arms once in a while, you're just layering new product on top of old grime. It's like putting perfume on top of old fish. Not a good mix. 3. Ignoring your shoes. Shoes. They support us, carry us through life. And if we're being honest, they're often neglected. You probably clean your floors. You vacuum your rugs. But when was the last time you cleaned the inside of your shoes? I'll confess something that's a little embarrassing. There was a stretch in my 70s where I had this one pair of orthopedic sandals I wore everywhere. Around the house, to the garden, quick trips to the store. They were so comfortable, perfect arch support, easy to slide on. But one day I caught a whiff of something unpleasant near the entryway. I blamed the dog. I blamed the grandkids. Turns out, it was my shoes. And not the soles, the insides. Over time, our feet change. We sweat differently. Some of us develop more foot odor as we age, especially if we're on certain medications or have circulation issues. And because our sense of smell can also decline a bit with age, we might not even notice that our footwear has turned into a mobile odor trap. Here's what I learned. Most shoes, yes, even those expensive orthopedic ones, are washable. At the very least, the insoles can be removed and cleaned. I now air out my shoes in the sun at least once a week, sprinkle a little baking soda in them overnight, and alternate pairs. And I always wear socks or footies, even with slip-ons. That tiny barrier keeps sweat from soaking into the lining and cuts down on odor by a lot. One of the best tips I got: use tea bags. Dry, unused black tea bags placed in your shoes overnight can absorb moisture and reduce odor naturally. And it's a whole lot cheaper than fancy sprays. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love my comfy old shoes. But I treat them with the same care I treat my skin. Because believe it or not, a lot of the odors people associate with aging, they're not coming from you. They're coming from what's on your feet. 4. Using too much fragrance to mask odors. Oh, this one hits close to home because I used to be the queen of perfume. Ever since I was in my 20s, I had my scent. You know, the bottle that sits on your vanity, maybe with a tiny satin bow, maybe in a glass bottle that makes you feel a little more elegant with each spray. Mine was Chanel No. 5 for decades. A classic. I felt more me when I wore it. But let me tell you something I didn't understand until well into my 60s. There's a fine line between a signature scent and a cloud of cover-up. And that line gets thinner as we get older. As our skin changes with age, so does the way it holds onto fragrance. What once smelled light and floral in our 40s can turn heavy, even sour, in our 70s. Our body chemistry evolves due to menopause, medications, even what we eat. I didn't know this at first. All I knew was that one day I caught a whiff of my own perfume, and it didn't smell quite right. Not bad exactly, but not like me either. So what did I do? I sprayed more. That was my mistake. I assumed that if I couldn't smell it, no one else could. But as I later learned, your nose adapts. The more you wear a scent, the less you notice it, but others don't lose sensitivity. I had one poor neighbor who always gave me hugs with that polite half smile and watery eyes. It wasn't until she gently said, "Your perfume is strong today," that I realized I had been walking around like a one-woman fragrance department. And here's the kicker. When you use perfume to cover body odor, whether it's from underarms, clothing, shoes, or even scalp, it doesn't neutralize the smell. It mixes with it. The result? A complex, often unpleasant blend that sticks in the air like bad soup. These days, I've made the switch. I keep a light, alcohol-free body mist for special occasions and rely more on staying clean than masking anything. I also started keeping a small bag of unscented baby wipes in my purse. Not for babies, just for me. If I'm out and about and feel like I've gotten a little ripe, I excuse myself, wipe down my neck, underarms, and hands, and I feel fresh again. No clouds. No sneezing grandkids. Just clean confidence. So yes, you can still wear fragrance. But use it as a flourish, not a disguise. And always remember, clean smells better than anything in a bottle. 5. Not washing your hair accessories. Let me ask you a question, and be honest. When was the last time you washed your hairbrush? Or your comb? Or your favorite little scrunchie you keep in your purse? If you had to pause, you're not alone. For years, I thought washing my hair was enough. But what I didn't realize was that every time I used that old brush or tied my hair up with the same elastic, I was reintroducing old oils, bacteria, and product buildup back into my clean scalp. I had this velvet scrunchie I adored, got it at a market in Italy back in the day. It was soft, a deep burgundy, and I wore it constantly. But after a few months, I noticed something strange. My scalp started itching a bit. My pillowcase smelled a little off. I chalked it up to age. But then I did a little test. I sniffed that scrunchie up close. I nearly dropped it. It smelled like old perfume, hairspray, and, let's be honest, sweat. And that smell was rubbing against my scalp day in and day out. Most of us wouldn't think twice about changing a towel or washing pillowcases weekly, but our brushes and accessories, we forget them. Meanwhile, they're collecting sebum, dead skin cells, dandruff, and every bit of product we use. Gels, sprays, dry shampoo, you name it. Here's what I learned. Hairbrushes should be cleaned weekly. Take a comb or a pen to pull out the trapped hair. Then soak the brush in warm water with a little shampoo and baking soda. Let it sit for 30 minutes, scrub with an old toothbrush, and rinse. Dry thoroughly. As for scrunchies, headbands, and fabric clips, they belong in your laundry, just like socks. I now keep a little mesh laundry bag just for accessories. Every week, I toss in whatever I've used and give them a gentle cycle wash. No more weird scalp smells. No more itchy forehead. Just clean, fresh hair that stays clean longer. The lesson? Don't let the tools that help you look good become the very thing that makes you smell bad. They deserve care too. 6. Sleeping in worn pajamas and sheets too long. Oh my goodness. I used to be terrible about this. I had this old flannel nightgown that I wore every winter night for almost a decade. It was warm, comforting, and had that broken-in softness I couldn't find anywhere else. But you know what else it had? Years of skin cells, body oils, and traces of night sweats because I wasn't washing it nearly enough. It's easy to overlook, especially when you live alone or your partner's just as relaxed as you are. But your body doesn't stop functioning at night. In fact, some of us sweat more while we sleep than during the day. Tossing and turning, especially under thick blankets, creates a damp, warm environment, a breeding ground for bacteria and odor. Doctors say that your sheets should be washed at least once a week. Pajamas? Every 2 to 3 wears, especially in summer. But I know how tempting it is to stretch it out. I used to say, well, I'm not dirty when I go to bed, so it's fine. But here's the thing, even clean skin still sheds. You're lying in your own skin flakes, breath, drool. Yes, we all do it. And perspiration every single night. I had a friend over once, my oldest friend from college, and she stayed the night. The next morning, she was kind, but she asked me gently, do you ever wash your pillowcases more than once a month? That was a wake-up call. I realized I had just gotten too comfortable, literally. Now, I have a little system. I keep 2 full sets of sheets in rotation, one in the wash and one on the bed. I also keep a few pairs of fresh nightgowns or PJ sets folded in my dresser. I change them every other day without fail. And guess what? I sleep better. My skin looks better. And I wake up without that musty, sour smell clinging to my neckline or pillow. One last thing. Don't forget your actual pillows and mattress. I sprinkle baking soda on the mattress once a month, let it sit, and vacuum it up. Keeps everything fresher. And I wash the pillows themselves twice a year. Clean bed, clean sleep, clean scent. It makes a world of difference. Listen, ladies, aging is beautiful, but there's no shame in keeping fresh while we do it. These silent little mistakes, I made most of them myself. And once I fixed them, I felt more confident, more comfortable, and yes, better smelling. So let's age with grace, but also with good hygiene. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What's one scent that reminds you of your youth? And don't forget to join my free Savvy Senior newsletter, filled with weekly tips for confident, radiant aging. The link's right in the description. Take care of yourself and each other. See you in the next one.